Hi, this is Kate, and welcome to the Ordinary Earth Song. I'm going to apologise now for two things. One is that I did a video earlier today, and I just have to do another one. I can't let the feeling go. This is going to be a reading though, so it will be different to the other ones I've been doing just recently. This is the first sort of reading I've done since I started doing the drawings, so bear with me please. The other is, you may hear fans in the background. It is currently 28 degrees Celsius. I don't know what that is in Fahrenheit, but it's hot, and if I don't have the fans on, I don't think I'll be able to do this, so I apologise. Normally I would have them off. I just can't today, and I would leave this until later when it's cooler, but again, I have this need to do a reading. I don't know why. I don't know what's going to come out. Yes, so let's see what happens. I've been told to use light seers, and I'll see if there's any other oracle decks that are calling to me. I don't think this is going to be a pick a card, although it could be, because I was told to use potentially 3 crystals as the signifiers. Just waiting for confirmation as to what the best course of action here is. Just do a reading. Okay, just doing a reading. So we're using the Light Seers deck. So should all be upright. Oh, first card's out already. Oh my gosh. Okay, that one. Don't know what this reading is going to be about. It could be for any one of us. I can't believe I've got so many subscribers. Thank you guys, it's beautiful. Guys and girls, obviously. I say guys as a very generic term, by the way. It tends to be a sweeping everybody, all encompassing. Me and my sister a little while back, we had a thing about calling each other sir, and mocking the vocabulary of everything being very male orientated. So everyone became a dude, regardless of their gender. Anyway, so that's a bad habit to get out of. Okay, these are the cards in this order. Okay, let's see. I've not done one like this before, so let's see what they say. Oh, 10 of Pentacles in reverse. Ten of Pentacles, got the Tree of Life. Oh, everything's connected. But it was in reverse, which could say a sense of disconnection, potentially from... Is there a sense of disconnection from the everyday? That's intriguing, because it kind of fits in with the potential of what I've been talking about in my 0 Point Consciousness videos. If there's a sense of disconnection with the everyday, with the family, with the tangible 3D, and there's more of a connection with the spiritual, then being in reverse, I get the overwhelming feeling that this is pointing towards this, pointing towards connection. I know that's not how this Tree of Life works, because this should be down and this is up, so this is the pointing upwards. So this is the root chakra, right? But it's like pointing towards the material, pointing towards the everyday, the 3D, what you may refer to, I don't know, some people might, but it could be the mundane muggle world, which is, is something I've heard people say before. But considering that the muggle world is made of 0 point consciousness, and it's all the bloody same thing, right? This is about recognising not just the higher vibrations as being significant, but also seeing and finding the significance. This is about finding the significance in the everyday, in the 3D vibration that we exist in, and in the family and the connections we have with all the people around us, in recognising the connections and the links and the veils and the lenses that they're seeing the world through, and how we see them through the lens that they're presenting, and what lens we're using to present ourselves to them. Because the distortions in understanding them from our perspective, our distortion in understanding them is our distortion. We may be putting something on them that we're feeling about ourselves. That's a distortion. So when we're going into an everyday situation, and we may have had a really bad morning, for example, we're going in and we're seeing these people doing their usual everyday things, and we may be judging them or tarring them with a specific brush because we're in the mood to do that. That's the lens we're seeing the world through today. We're seeing the world through a lens of slight annoyance and aggravation. So anything anybody else does is going to be perceived with the lens of aggravation and annoyance, regardless of what their intentions are. And what they're going to see is someone who's disrupting their day because they're just coming in from their own perspective, and they're like, la la, I'm really happy, I'm just doing my own thing, doing what you would usually do, and then all of a sudden you're there going, argh! And they pick up on that, and they will pick up on it, and they'll be like, wow, what's wrong with them? What did I do? And this is kind of the thing about the lenses and the spiral that we create for ourselves, because we're always at one point in that spiral, and whatever lenses we're looking through and whatever perspective we're looking at the world through, that is how we are being mirrored, or how we're coming across to other people, and other people will mirror that back, and they will, again, from their perspective, see things from their perspective, and so we're all bouncing off each other constantly. Hard work. We got to work at this. This isn't going to be something that we can just, this may feel like a burden. It's not, though. It's not a burden. Life comes with programming. It comes with a package deal. It comes with things that are going to inevitably hit us in our lives. We carry them with us. This is us carrying that load with us. That's how we identify ourselves. But it's as we go along this journey and our spiral spins out and we start going on the rainbow road, we can start shedding the load. Shedding the load, connecting. Oh, wow, the world. Connection. Shedding the load. Connection, patterns of life. Oh, I love that. I love that came out. This card, according to my cheat sheet, means completing a goal or lesson, immigration, travel and completion. I mean, that's a very standard way of reading it, right? Immigration, moving around, travelling. It's the world card. What do you do when you're in the world? You travel. But you also connect. You also carry a load. And as you shed the load, the world becomes a freer place to travel in. A bigger place. It becomes more of an exciting place. It has more options, more potential, more opportunity. the more you see it with an open, free mind, where you've shed your load and you're recognizing that you are connecting with other people's lenses and the way that they're seeing the world, and that your possible way of seeing the world could be distorted in some way, shape or form. If you can work with all of that, clear your distortions, clear your path, shed your load. Really sounds like you're doing a massive poo. Anyway, I mean, you could do a massive poo. It's up to you, isn't it? Everyone needs to do one every now and then. But you come to a place of completion, of starting in a place of more awareness, more freedom, more objectivity, more ability to observe rather than judge. Yeah, that was something that was coming through in between these two readings, was the need to clarify that this ties in with this card actually. The need to clarify that when we are connecting with other people and we're seeing them through our own distortions and they're seeing us through their own distortions, and so the lens is distorted and painting a slightly skewed picture of actual events, the ability to actually observe and be impartial without judgment of the other person and the lens that they're using actually gives you the ability to be the observer, the witness, rather than the judge and the jury and the executioner. If you can get rid of that or work on that side, on your need to fashion people into a mold that you think they should be in, you let go of that. You let go of all kind of need to objectify, almost not objectify, subjectify where someone should be and how they should react to you. You let go of that need for your own sake and let them carry on with whatever they're doing, because you're never going to change their own opinion. But you clear your distortions, you lighten your load, you become more complete as a soul, as a person, as someone that's connected to your sense of 0 point consciousness. You're able to move through the world with a clearer perspective and with a clearer lens, allowing you to be more of the I am self, to be more of the aware self, more of a conscious self, without the judgment of others telling you this is how they should be, this is how I should react to this situation, which is more of an observation, a witnessing of what's going on. And then it's impartial. It's not invested so much. It's more sort of to one side, and it doesn't mean you can't still be there for people, but it means that you're not investing all of your energy into that situation, and you're not losing yourself to a situation or to a circumstance. It means that you're not going to be drawn into somebody else's drama or emotional need to draw your energy away from yourself. It gives you the ability to shed your load, even though you've still got the journey to take. You've got help on this journey for sure to carry the load, but if you can lighten that load, shed it, you might put other things on there, but they may be lighter. You might take these packs off and replace them with beautiful flowers. I mean, a lot of flowers would weigh a lot, but you wouldn't mind carrying them because they're beautiful, and eventually you can replace them with other flowers. There's so many different analogies here. It's weirdly expansive, right? Anyway, 3 cards. I'm getting quite a lot from them so far, so this is good. Oh my goodness. Connecting to your central core, the star. We're all stardust, right? 0 point consciousness is everything, so it is stardust, but in the 3D, everything is stardust. Stardust. Everything's connected. True authentic self. Being authentic. Being authentic is... well, I think what we try to do every single day, right? We're trying to be authentic, but we do put masks on. we take the masks off when we clear our lenses. We can loosen the load, we can lighten the load, we can remove judgment and the need to impart our own will on somebody else. Their will is just as important as our will. And even if we think they are deeply, deeply wrong and what they are doing is going to do them harm, is there a way of approaching that which makes it their decision not to do it rather than you telling them they shouldn't do it? Is there a way of approaching them and expressing concern or expressing the fact that you may know what might happen and it's more likely to happen if this happens, if they go down a certain route, to give them the choice of making that decision in a more informed way? Because sometimes we can witness people making bad decisions and we can see them making those bad decisions because they're not informed about all the potential outcomes. It can be hard to approach people. I don't know why this is coming up, but if there is a situation in someone's life right now where there is somebody that is potentially making a huge mistake, two things. One, it is their mistake to make. It isn't your responsibility, really isn't your responsibility to force them to not make that mistake. And by making that mistake, they will grow from the outcome. And I know it will be hard. It's always hard, but sometimes growth comes from achieving, coming out the other side of something that was difficult. So you have to go through what was difficult and then you have to come out the other side. And that's often what creates growth in the curve of the spiral, the pathway of life, the experience, the spiral, I can't come up with a name for that, the spiral of life experience. Let's call it that for now. Especially if it's a young person. A young person isn't necessarily always going to listen to an older person because an older person does know, they are wiser. But I remember telling my mum when I was a teenager, because she was like, don't do this, it's a mistake. But I remember telling my mum when I was younger, I was like, please stop, because I need to make my own mistakes. I knew that at that point, I need to make my own mistakes. I need to work it out myself. I wasn't ready to listen. If there's a way to spin it so that they are given options, they can then make an more informed choice, and it may mean it may give them a perspective where they hadn't really considered that there were other options. They hadn't considered the outcomes of their actions, not in totality. They hadn't looked at all the repercussions. So maybe just having a conversation, and don't even say to them that I think you're wrong. Just say to them that I have some concerns and I would like to have a chat with you about them. And whatever you decide to do after that is obviously entirely up to you, because you're your own free person. But I feel for my own benefit, I need to let you know what I'm thinking, and take that just so that they can go in with their eyes open. Oh, Ace of Pentacles in reverse. Ace of Pentacles. Nurturing, growth, being grounded. Investing in newness. Ace of Pentacles in reverse. Ooh. Okay, I've just been told to look at the book on that one, because it might have some words of wisdom. Right, what does it say? Reverse. Shadow Seer. The need to create strong foundations to support your dream, risk of financial loss, missed opportunities, the need to prioritize being overly greedy and missing the bigger picture. Interesting. Is this in relation to the person we were just talking about? There's potential for that, isn't there? Are they missing the bigger picture? And this goes back to the conversation. So if I'd have turned that card and said all that, that would have made more sense, right? The Empress. Motherly wisdom. Connection to the earth. The Empress. She's the all-powerful. The nurturer. She's the connection between the intuition and the grounded nature of existence. The conduit. Ooh. We have the Queen of Wands and we have the Two of Pentacles. I'm putting them over here. Queen of Wands, a feisty lady. She is connected. She's excited. She's excitement. She's achieved everything she needs to achieve. But she's super happy about it. Two of Pentacles, balancing energies, balancing the high frequency with the 3D frequency, juggling them almost, corralling them, trying to get them into line. I'm not sure that's necessary. Is it necessary? No, I don't think it is. It's about choice, right? You have the choice. You have the choice to interfere. You have the choice to approach. You have the choice to give your 2 pennies worth. And you have the choice not to allow them to do what they want to do. To allow them to go down the road and for you to sit back and witness what's happening. I have a feeling that even if you were to have the conversation with this person, they would potentially poo-poo. But at least you would know you've had that conversation with them. I don't know if that's a good thing or not. But this is a battle hard fought, right? And you're coming to the end of it. This is like the final stage of this battle that you're coming to. Nine of Wands there. And it really feels like a battle of wills, or a battle of someone potentially not listening. And then we have High Priestess. Wow, there's some really powerful cards in here. The world, connection. Celebration, feistiness, powerful women, very powerful women here. The High Priestess. It's all about intuition. Use your intuition. Use your inner guidance system. Use your connection. Oh my goodness, look at that. The sun is on the bottom there as well. Put that there. And the Hierophant. Wow. So you've got the world, the star, the sun. And you have the Empress, the High Priestess, and the Hierophant. Oh goodness, Six of Cups, the Emperor. All of these are just popping out. Okay. everyday challenges, connection, celebration, connection, 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 0 point consciousness coming through. The Hierophant is the old wisdom keeper, I guess you make the traditional, conventional wisdom, right? But this is a he's meditating in what appears to be some form of Buddhist pose. I don't know, no idea. But see the joy in his eyes, the joy in his face. This is a Hierophant. This is a Hierophant with freedom on his mind. He isn't tied to any one specific way of thinking. He's got all the different ways of thinking here, and it's leading up to the higher frequency. Being open to loads of different ways of thinking. Being aware of different ways of thinking as well. I don't know about you, but I have done an awful lot of reading. Well, I used to do an awful lot of reading. I haven't for a really long time, to be honest with you. I have bought books recently, but I haven't read them. The most recent one was My Big Toe, and I got about a third the way through, and I was like, I don't know, this isn't resonating with me. But the first book I ever read, which kicked off my spiritual journey, and this was about 25 years ago. I am that old. Is something that I picked up when I was working in a bookshop, and I was looking after the spirituality and religious section, and I was in a place and I was just like, oh, I'm really unhappy, all this stuff's happened to me, and I am feeling this, I'm feeling very depressed, blah blah. Anyway, I was called to read a book, and it was called Conversations with God by Neale Donald Walsch. Wow, it's mind-blowing, absolutely mind-blowing. It was my first foray into something other than Christianity. Even though I studied theology and religion at university by accident, I fell into it. Fascinating. I always saw it as a means to explain stuff, stories that were passed down. But reading the Conversations with God was the first point where I was like, okay, this is different. There's another way of perceiving God. And I read The Power of Now, Practicing the Power of Now, and all those good older books. But there's a lot to be said for all of the teachings, all of the readings, all of the religions, everything, because you tie them all together and they all have the same message. That's what the Hierophant brings to the table. The Hierophant brings the same message to the table. 0 point consciousness, explained in all these different ways, in all these different religions, in all these different types of psychologies, sciences, spirituality, all of it. It's all connected, it's all the same thing, it's all the same thing being explained through different lenses. And we can nurture that. We can connect to it. We can use it for our intuition. And we can dance in the hills, and we can sing to the stars, and we can connect to the earth, and we can feel abundant and growth, and we can celebrate and joy, and we can learn to balance who we are, what we are, with the higher understanding of self. Anything else from a different deck, maybe? Anything? Shaman's Dream. Okay, I just have to dig it out. There we go. I have way too many cards. Not that there is any such thing as way too many. Shaman's Dream. Blimey, you want to add to this. That was some really rubbish shuffling there. Push that out. Winter Stream, gestation period. Ooh, good point. Really good point, thank you. Now, everything we learn, every new thing that we learn, or become aware of, or open ourselves to, or start exploring, there's always a gestation period. There's always a period of integrating that knowledge and that understanding. Being able to integrate it means making it personal. So the equivalent to this is, and I've said this to people I've trained before, is that I can tell you the ins and outs of all of this stuff. I can give you all the theory behind what we're doing, why we're doing it, and all the rest. I can show you how the systems work. I can show you all of that. But none of this will actually mean much until you make it real for yourself. You have to take what you learn and make it something you understand from your perspective, through your lenses. That's going to change it ever so slightly, because that's inevitable. But it means that you're letting it settle in. You're letting yourself absorb it, and you're giving it time to grow and to change you and to develop. The gestation period is not just a time of waiting; it's a time of change, or it's the point just before change. It's the point of acceptance of, I know that this is going to happen. I know that I'm going to change because of this. I know that because I've invited it in. I am the caterpillar in its cocoon, and I've cocooned myself, and I'm in that gestation period. I'm not even sure that's called a gestation period, but that is what I'm calling it. I'm in that period of change, and I'm going to metamorphosize into a butterfly. But to do that, I have to allow this to happen. You have to bring it in. You have to. With everything you learn, whatever that thing is, it has to have a period of gestation. It has to have a period of settling in, of you accepting it, changing with it, allowing it to change you, so that you can come out the other side as a more knowledgeable being at that point. Whether it's you've learnt how to do calculus, or whether it's you've learnt how to speak to your spirit guides, it doesn't matter. There's always this gestation period. So this is stuff that can touch your heart right now, but it's by repetitive being touched on the heart by the heart, and actively looking to clearer lenses and meditate on that, and be more that you allow the gestation period to happen, and the growth will happen as you go along. Anything else? Sorry, I'm very much out of practice doing this out loud. I've done readings myself, and I just sort of look at the cards and I go, okay. Actually saying it out loud, I have to say, whilst doing a reading, it's unusual, especially when there isn't someone in front of you. I think that may be the message. Nope. I'm going to shuffle one more time. That one. Completion. Gestation period and completion. Closing a door. Closing a door. allowing something to end so that you can invite the new. So there's always another door to open. Sometimes you have to close a door before you can open another one. It's just, okay. Last one. Teachability. Hollow bone. Teachability. Being flexible. That's what I was just talking about the gestation period. It's being flexible. It's being hollow. It's allowing new information to come in. And that means actually making sure there's space. You have the ability to absorb new information. No matter how outlandish or outrageous or out there the information is, sometimes it's good to hear it with an open mind, a hollow self, so that you can allow it to fill you up, so that you can then go, this resonates with me, that doesn't resonate with me. When I first read Conversations with God, even though it was my very first foray into all of this, and I'd never heard the phrase, let what resonates with you, keep what resonates, leave everything else. I had never heard that before. It was 25 years ago, that phrase did not exist. I was reading that book, and there were some things I completely 100% could understand without even thinking about it. I was like, oh my God, yes, that feels like truth. And it was the feeling of truth for me. It was that I understand what you're saying, and I connect to it. And there were other things in the book that I was like, that doesn't feel quite so comfortable. That's not something I was ready to hear, or it was something that I was just not vibing with at the time. So at that point, I was already choosing what resonated and what didn't resonate. And I took what resonated and I left the rest. And weirdly enough, I actually thought, it was about a year and a half ago when I started on this part, on this stretch of my journey, and all of this opened up to me. It was at this point that I thought, I'm going to revisit. And I hadn't revisited Conversations with God since I'd first read them. I'll revisit them and I'll listen to it on Audible. So I was listening to them on Audible, and again, I realised there were some things that resonated and there were some things that didn't resonate. But because I was at the point of first reading that book, I was a hollow bone. I was truly hollow. I had nothing. I had no belief system. I'd lost my faith in God. I'd lost my faith in Methodism. I was deeply depressed, and I was seeking something to fill me up because I was hollow. And it allowed the teachings to come in, and it opened me up to the possibility of this slightly different way of thinking about things. I mean, and then I spiraled back down again, and I spiraled back out, and I spiraled back down again about 3 times. That was my first time. And, yeah. A hollow bone. Being teachable. Being open, being a sponge, and allowing the new things to come in. Because it's by doing that, and it's about and I've actually tried to be a hollow bone, realizing in this stretch of my journey now I'm on the rainbow path. I'm calling it a rainbow path because there are so many different frequencies in it. There are so many different things to think about, and belief systems and branches to what people are now talking about. As I said in my last video, you've got aliens, you've got ancestors, gods, goddesses, fairies, dragons, spirit guides, passed away loved ones, you've got angels, you've got Mother Earth, Tree of Life, you've got stars, you've got galaxies. There's just There's more than that. There's way more than that. But it was only by being hollow and being, I wanted to learn and just allowing myself to learn, that I came to the point I'm at now, where I have started to piece it together. So, shed your load. It felt like that thing in the middle about this conversation was a separate message for someone specific. This rest of the message still counts for you and for everybody else. Hollow bone, be teachable, close the door, allow the newness to come in. You're in a gestation period of learning, changing, allowing, and as you do that, as you grow, as your understanding settles, and then you allow it to settle, and sometimes there's a period of peace where you don't actually have to think about all this stuff, and then you allow it to just be. And by allowing it to just be, you're allowing it to grow and gestate and develop and integrate into you. And integrating allows it to sink in. And then you start seeing things from a different perspective, from your own perspective. Other people's perspectives. None of this is new information. None of this is new information. This is just a different way of explaining the same thing that has been explained many, many, many times. There's so many books out there on all of this. You have your own way, and you will discover your way. Everyone you listen to that tells you from their perspective, or a way of thinking about it, is giving you the opportunity to see it from a slightly different vantage point. The more vantage points you may see the same thing from, the more it may be possible for you to then reword it, relabel it, reintegrate it, re-understand it, and then it becomes personal. And as it becomes personal, you integrate it further. And actually, what weirdly happens is the lens you were previously looking at through, the lens of Bob's explanation, and the lens of Kate's explanation, and the lens of Lucy's explanation, they all become previous lenses that you may have listened to or tried to see through. But as you took things from each of those, you brought them over to your own personal lens. Didn't take everything, just the things that resonate. You brought them over, you plopped them into your lens, and as you plop them into your lens, you then allow them to resonate, gestate, grow, change, develop, and you toy with them, you play with them, you think about them, and one day you look up and you look through your own lens. And that lens gives you a really clear picture on what it was you were thinking about. It gives you a way of understanding all these different ways of thinking into one. Ta-da! Boom! You have an idea. That's where it starts. Anyway, I'm going to leave that there, I think. As I say, this is highly unusual. I don't normally do 2 readings or 2 videos in one day, because I don't think it's very popular, and I don't think card readings are going to be for everyone. So this is literally for anyone that fancies listening to something a bit extra. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for joining me, and I will see you soon. Take care, my lovelies. Bye.